Everyone is hyped for Varka because of the lore. But does he actually bring value to your account? Today, we are putting the hype aside. I'm breaking down the true cost and value of Varka, Skirk, Escoffier, and Flins to answer one simple question. Who is actually a must-pull for the meta, and who is just an easy skip? First, let's begin with the brand new character coming in version 6.4, Varka. Varka, as of now, is not looking like a good pull main lead due to how much you need to invest in his team. Even then, after having his full premium team, his DPS is quite low when you compare it to other DPSs. I do feel like he isn't that good right now, but maybe he has some future potential with Nicole if she ends up being a support. But we have no guarantees on what Nicole's kit is, so at the same time, I am not sure. Keeping future potential aside, as of now, I would only recommend Varka if you can go for his signature weapon too. His signature is quite strong and puts him over 100k DPS if you use his premium team. If you are not sure what his premium team is, as of now Varka pairs up with Venti, Duran, and Bennett as his other team members. Getting his signature would put this team well over 100k DPS, which should be just about enough to clear Abyss. But you might struggle with Stygian. I will bring out another video next, where I will discuss his DPS numbers in more detail. It's pretty obvious Varka won't be that amazing in 6.4. They have clearly kept him nerfed for future support that would be included in his team after. So if you instantly need a good DPS to clear content within the game, he is definitely not a must-pull since we still likely have 2 more versions before Nicole is released, who is speculated to be a Pyro Shielded support. If the speculation ends up being true, then maybe Varka will be saved, but other than that there's not a lot of future upcoming options. As of now, I highly recommend to go for his signature too if you are pulling for him. Moving on to Flins. Flins is by far easily a really good pull as long as you have sustain for his team. Best sustain is of course a Nefa, so if you pulled for her during 6.3, I would highly recommend to go for him right now because you might have to wait a lot longer for the next rerun. Flins can easily clear most of the content within the game without needing much investment. Even without his premium team, he can still hold up pretty well with just a Nefa along with him in the team. And even if you use his free-to-play teams, you can still use him for exploration in Overworld, which he can clear pretty fast too. Though there's one case where you should skip Flins, and that is if you have Zebai and Nefer both with you. Because when you have both Zebai and Nefer, your Hydro options are really low, and you'll have to pair either C6 Xingqiu or Farina or Yelon or C6 Candace along with Flynn since Aino and Columbina will already be in the other teams. Best option being Yelon out of all of them. Farina is slightly better at the cost of always being on lower HP. So make sure to not let a Nephis shield break. Basically, splitting supports among all 3 Nod Cry DPS will turn out difficult, and also it ends up being a DPS loss, so it's not worth it unless you purely just want to use one of the 3 DPS only for overworld exploration. If you only have 1 Nod Cry DPS as of now, then I do recommend going for Flins as he is also really good in free-to-play teams as long as you have some kind of sustain. Overall, Flins remains quite high in pull priority, and you should go for him as long as you don't have 2 Nod Cry DPS already. Moving towards Skirk and Escoffier. First, let's go over Escoffier. Escoffier remains one of the best cryo applicators in the game along with Seatlolly. She is very effective in freeze teams due to her ability to resistance shred with more number of hydro and cryo units. And if that wasn't enough, she can also heal, which is really good since you get an element driver along with a healer too. She can also be used in melt teams, but do keep in mind that you will miss out on the resistance shred from her passive. And saving for Seatlolly is much better if you plan to only get Escoffier for melt teams. But if you still want to use Escoffier in melt teams, make sure to pair her up with another cryo unit, so you can at least benefit a little by the resistance shred. Mainly, you just want to go for Escoffier if you plan to use freeze teams a lot, because that's where she shines. Some other cases where you can still use her might be where you need cryo application along with a good sustain. Overall, she works in a lot of freeze teams along with few melt teams. Moving finally towards Skirk. Skirk still remains one of the best DPS in the game, and she is definitely worth going for if you lack good DPSs. She has really easy and fluid combos too, which makes her pretty easy to use. Skirk still remains a really good character who can still easily clear Abyss and Stygian. Though I do want to mention that she is a bit restrictive, of course, since you need to play her in freeze teams due to her passives being tied to it. Also, she is quite less free-to-play teams compared to other top DPS like Varka and Flins, so without characters like Escoffier and Furina, you won't be able to get a lot of value from her. But the good thing is that you can build her really easily since she requires no energy recharge or elemental mastery on her, so you can completely avoid it and only focus on attack percent, cryo damage bonus, and crit. So she is quite low investment, but do keep in mind that you need to have other good characters for her to really perform well. If you don't have Escoffier or Furina, I would say it's less valuable to go for her. Overall, she still remains a good DPS with really fluid and easy combos, but she is restrictive to freeze teams and needing good supports. Overall, I think Skirk is a decent pull, but just a little restrictive. Pull priority for the banners in 6.4 varies depending on your account. But for most of the people, the pull priority should be Flins followed by Escoffier, then Skirk, and then Varka. Varka might get future supports like Nicole, which might help him and increase his pull value for your own account, but you can always pull him on his next rerun instead of pulling him right now and missing out on Flins, Escoffier, and Skirk, who will likely not have another rerun anytime soon. Let me know if you have any more questions down below for your own particular account. I will try my best to reply to everyone. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.